Right, it's been really rainy the last few weeks in the UK, and this video I am going to be redoing my Honda Civic. The issue I have with the Honda Civic is had a water leak and I repaired it. That was over a year ago, and I kind of just, instead of checking it out to see if my repairs are still standing strong, I kind of neglected it, and I've been getting water leaks again. I've made a previous video on this, but this time I've got an extra idea that I can use to absolutely kind of reduce the chance of getting a water leak inside my driver's footwell. So the tools I think I need, if I remember rightly, need a 10mm quarter extension bar with a wobble end. That's a 10mm socket, tiny little 1/4" ratchet, got a bigger ratchet for the windscreen, that's a 17. Some electrical tape, I need that soon. Pair of these little clippers, and I've got cable ties over there. Definitely need this. Trim tool, some clear lacquer. This is quick drying. I've got some slower drying stuff, but I may use this. I used this, I think, not even too long ago, and I think on it, because I did give it a little bit of service due to the water leak, and it's kind of leaking again already, so it's not really a very good lacquer. But because I'm working in the dark, as you can see, I've got a little tub to hold everything. Okay, right, lighting is reasonable. So first thing we need to do is take off this rubber strip. Then we need to pay attention to both wiper blades. We need to get them off, because there's two gutterings just near where the wiper blade is, where the guttering on the right hand driver side is, if it's blocked, is very small. That could cause problems. The one on the left hand side is bigger, much bigger, less likely to get blocked, but we'll take off everything anyway, and I'll show you. I've got a special trick for today, just to definitely waterproof it for foreseeable future. Obviously the best way of dealing with this is to where it is you'll see some drain holes. When I get to the back of this compartment there's some drain holes there, and behind that usually there is like if it's like a cold air intake, there's like a couple of bolts and like a hooded kind of intake. None of that. It's just 3-4 little holes, and disappear it into the back of the engine compartment where the water drains, and that is where I think it's leaking water from. Alright, so I think it possibly could be got to if from underneath, if I take off all the exhaust, and I kind of maybe I might be able to get to it, but this fix here is just all above. You only have to get underneath the engine. So let me try this, because last time I waterproofed it, it worked for a good old plus year, and I was bone dry for a year. But when at the moment I'm getting water leaks, I'm going to have to make some changes. So you should see some fasteners here. And my hand is working. Probably just some plastic plugs. I've just got, because I've opened this up so many times, the plastic plugs are not the usual 8mm plastic fasteners. They've long gone. And one over here on the right. These new parts. Luckily I just dropped the end of this down there, but there's nothing moving down there, it's fine. There's a funny little, you'll need a screwdriver as well. The hand pump is here. I'm going to turn it. Oh, let me get a screw. Right, so this cover to the hand fuel pump just comes off like so. Just catch it like so. It comes off. Without taking this off, you cannot take it. this plastic off. Keep that to one side. I'm going to take you over to the windside. Hopefully you'll be able to see something. Take the cap off, plastic cap. Probably best to take your hood down, but I'll lose my light then. So 17, I'll undo it first. I probably won't need to do that. What you need to do is to drop your hood, drop your bonnet, undo these bolts, because I cleaned it recently, I'm not going to do it again. And to take these wipers off, what it is to do is to best bend this upward like so. And there's like no extra tension on the glass, and it just lifts off, okay? And take this plastic fissure off. There is a fastener down here where my finger is. Kind of slides off, and there's a little hole right where I'll show you. There's a little hole right in there. So there is a fastener down here. And my finger is pointing. Take that off because you've already done that one. So see it's really lifting off. Once that lifts off, this can come out, and there's a tiny little hole that needs to be cleared there, and a much bigger hole on the left hand side. So that's to make sure the drainage goes nicely. I'm not doing that today because, like I said, I did it the other day already. Okay, so that lifts off completely. So of course the windscreen wiper wash is there. Alright, so we're revealing the thing I patched up the other day. Yeah, I can see what is leaking. Look, see that? Whoops, see this? That's not very good. Water's going to go straight through there. That's all bulged up. Even though I lacquered it, it's not going to work. Right, see that? The bulk 10mm. 10mm. It's here 10mm. Equivalent just down there where my finger is, and down here, and one more down here on the end just here. That's it. Take all them off. So I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 10mm bolts. Magnet retrieve some of these bolts. Okay. Have a magnet handy. Right, see on this right hand side, there's my bolt hole, not the one I chose earlier, which is the back there on the left of that. That is holding the windscreen wiper. There's a second one. I might be not getting, maybe there's not 6 but only 5 bolts. There's a second one there. 3 comes from there. 4 is easy to get to. Yeah, there's 4, 5 or 6 because this is where we don't want to drop it. There's things that we're taking on this end of the belt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's 6. I can't remember what it is. One more. Show you where the last one is. It is see it right there, number 6. So plate should now just lift up. notice I just did that to put it back in. I'm going to go like that, slide the left hand in first. So yeah, water's been getting through. So this is how I've done it, and it's all, yeah, there's loads of holes in this. This is meant to be flat against there. I meant to glue it, but I was lazy, I didn't glue it. I was going to pile straight through that. I did have these food liners, because that's what it is, plastic food liner, all glued down before. Not this time, I was lazy, I didn't do it. So that's pointless, but anyway, I thought of a better idea how to fix it, which is this. So these are slots where the water goes in, see it? And behind there somewhere is the fresh air intake. Now I'm looking at this, even if I was to get underneath the car and take a lot of stuff out, I don't think it's going to work. It is going to be in there. Any water, it's going to be in here like where my hand is. Fresh air intake is going to be behind there. Air goes in. Thing is, that's also the hole where the water drains out. I'm pretty certain there's a hole, because it's a hole where the water drains out. There's another hole that leads to the bottom where it drops out. So if I was to block this is what I'm not going to do. I'm going to block it, but it can still draw air from below. So these ones on the left hand side I think are good, so I'm going to leave them and block most of these on the, so I'm going to block most of these, especially that one, the central ones, the central 1, 2, 3, three big central ones I'm going to block, probably even that one there, because I think that's where the water leak is. It's coming from the central right hand side, because that's exactly where I'm getting my pools of water, right where my footwell is on the right. So I'm going to block that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to leave 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I've got this yoga mat that I normally use to lay on. I'm pretty sure it's waterproof. Polyurethane, I think. It's got like a trim tool. And I'm thinking if I roll these up, and one way I can do it obviously is use bathroom kind of glue and glue it up, and that's kind of more permanent. If I kind of trim it, roll it up and stuff it in, I think that's going to work. Right, so let's give it a try. Very small hole on the right hand side. See, I think if I was to fold that up in there and squeeze it into a gap, the expansivity of the foam is going to kind of close the gap, especially if it's a very small one, like one on the far left. And I guess you know what I'm trying to do. So there's that far right hole, right hand side engine but left hole to and 2 pieces, looks like that. Might do number 2 again, it fitted too easily. I think I need a bigger piece. Number 2, big chunky piece pressed in like that so I can pull it out if I need to. I'm just going to carry on, I'll show you the end result. Right, so right hand side engine, blocked. I'm cutting out roughly, for the big holes, maybe 20 centimeters squared pieces of yoga mats, and I've left that one not touched, and these of course not touched because I'm not getting leaking from the right hand side. It's all, sorry, left hand side, I'm getting all from the left. That one's kind of wedged a bit funny when my finger is sticking out, and that's okay because that's under an immovable object. which is the windscreen wiper motor. I'm just in my mind I'm thinking, should I stick sealant on it? Sealant. That's what my mind is thinking. I know I pushed it in there, so I know it has, the foam will expand into any space next to it. Alright, anyway, that's my second take on this job. I'm going to glue that. I'm going to glue the get some light in this. I'm going to glue these food trays on a bit better instead of just taping it some proper glue. Alright, so fingers crossed this should work, and we're expecting a lot of rain soon, so I'm just doing it whilst we get a bit of a dry spell. Alright, that should have been part 1. So this is part 2. Reason why part 1 didn't work was I tested it for a few days. Two reasons. First reason, as the blower was trying to blow air into the car because it was damp day or whatnot, trying to get the moisture off the windscreen, it was struggling. The air was, I thought there'll be enough air coming from underneath where the exit holes are for the water drainage to be able to draw in and fill the cabin with air. It wasn't enough. I need those holes open. Number 2, I was getting smoke from the exhaust fumes of other cars. Yes, it was drawing in air from underneath, but it was all that dank air from the exhaust basically, and I don't want to get carbon monoxide poisoning. So as I was driving, a little bit of the window open all the time, although I probably wouldn't get carbon monoxide poisoning, shouldn't take the risk, because there is a difference between the height of where this intake is and when you're intaking air from underneath, right? Of course, especially dangerous if you've got some sort of damaged exhaust near the engine end. Okay, if you had a hole in the engine, the exhaust near the engine, you would be suffering a bit. So do not do that. I only did that because I'm aware of that. I'm aware of all the risk, and I took the risk just to see what it was like. I thought maybe I can get enough fresh air in. No, it wasn't. If it had remained the case that I was drawing in fresh air and it was coming from somewhere else, maybe the side wells or something like that, and it wasn't coming in from underneath, then I would just carry on, just left it. But I've tested it. Don't do that. Do this method instead. Do my second method for trying to foolproof my kind of catch plate for the rain, for trying to foolproof that and to deliver that to a safe location where it drains away, bypassing the cold air intake. Right, so let's take it all apart again. It's very simple. So my previous plan worked really well, where I used tape to tape this all up, and I really sealed it really well. It lasted a whole year, but it's not foolproof, and I want something more foolproof. Simply put, okay, I've used epoxy resin, which is Kevlar Aerodite, trade name Aerodite, to secure my kind of water diverting kind of thing made out of food trays. This plate thing here, so the water should come in, slide away, right? But the only problem was, before I put last version 1 of this job, this solution, the water was getting in at the edges after a while. The water freezing, expanding, creating a bigger gap, etc. And the water was getting in, and eventually it kind of corroded its way through and it was passing through, so it bypassed this my duct here. My duct here obviously is ducted like a tile on the roof. It's made of 3 pieces, one piece here, then one piece overlaps it, and then another piece, the last piece overlaps that one. So the water will not kind of go back on itself, you know what I mean. So it should be a nice angle leading off to the left hand side of the engine, where the drainage system does not pour into the cold air intake. Alright, so simple solution is, after all that, perspex sheet, clean it, degrease it, and just look at that. Look at that. All I need is to glue it a few places, undo this, make a hole in it, screw that down so it's even more secure. There it is, there's my solution, simple as that. So whatever happens, the water is going to slide onto a piece of waterproofing. It's not going to get underneath it. It's not going to get underneath it this time. So I'll cut it all the way to the edge. Simple as that is my solution. Alright, let's do that. Right, so using JB Weld, I've used the perspex sheet. I don't know, it's perspex, might be polythene, I'm not sure. It's tough anyway, it's not going to corrode. Choose something that's not going to corrode or erode with time. Obviously I'll drill the little hole in there for the screw to go in, that'll help fix it. And I've secured a really nice thick layer of this JB Weld just across there. And it'll sit like that. And it's just a gentle kind of raindrop catches it, and slides down, raindrop catches it, slides down kind of thing, really. If it was a terrain, if you just poured loads of water, yeah, sure, it would just sort of go over this rim. But as it stands, it should be okay, because it worked before. I know it's slightly more raised here, so it's going to have a bit more of a problem getting over. I'll fit it in and I'll look at it and I'll tell you. Final conclusion. Right, so I noticed that it doesn't really stick where there's a dip. Though of course I stuck it down where I've got my little kind of rim. So I've had extra tape on it. Also added an extra piece just here, just in case the rain drips down here and then kind of works its way across. I'm hoping if the rain falls, it just kind of just on this corner, it just drop off either left of my finger or right. There we are. Look at that bit there. The rain drops right there, around that corner. Anyway, let's test it. Where is it going? It is going that way. Of course, up here it should go down that way. It is working its way downhill. My perceived downhill. What about if it comes across here like that? See, if it goes to the left, it's no problem. Anyway, it should hold for a while. I think it is. Yeah, it is kind of moving across. Anyway, thanks for watching. It's a tough job, this. Someone's got to do it. Please like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed.